Journalists are not criminals. You will need them someday.
A very good evening. We are here live from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Adushka Balasurya.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. We start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Changes to the UNP leadership. Sajith Premadasa appointed deputy leader, Ravi Karunanayaka appointed assistant leader. President Mahinda Rajapaksa in New York to address the UN General Assembly. Police STF deployed to Badula and Haliala. Marwan Atapatto among top 2 candidates for the position of Sri Lanka head coach. Chairman of selectors Sanat Jayasuriya steps down from panel to select head coach.
The United National Party leadership was revamped at the Working Committee meeting this evening. Accordingly, parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa was appointed deputy leader of the party, while MP Ravi Karunanayaka was appointed the party's assistant leader.
The United National Party Working Committee convened for the first time following the recent over-provincial council elections at party headquarters Sirikota. The meeting was held under the patronage of UMP National Leader Ranil Wickremesinghe. During the meeting, Ranil Wickremesinghe had proposed that Sajith Premadasa be appointed as the deputy leader of the party. No opposition was raised to this motion. Accordingly, Sajith Premadasa was unanimously appointed to the position of deputy leader of the party. Meanwhile, the working committee of the UMP appointed parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayaka as the assistant leader of the UMP. Parliamentarian Akila Viraj Karyavasam was appointed deputy general secretary of the UMP at today's working committee meeting. Parliamentarian Iran Vikramaratne was appointed as treasurer of the party. Celebrations ran high outside the UMP headquarters, Sirikota, following the news of the appointments.
මම සතුටු වෙනවා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමාගේ යෝජනා.
I am happy, and as per the proposal of the UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe, I will accept this responsibility of the deputy leader of the party, and I will work to establish a UNP government and a UNP president to bring this country back from the precipice and to take all the people of this country forward towards prosperity. This is the opportunity I received today.
සියලු දෙනාම සෞභාග්‍ය කරා ගෙන යාමේ ඒ අතිමහත් වූ ගමනට මගේ දායකත්වය ශක්තිමත් ලබා දෙන්නට අද මට ඒ අවස්ථාව ලැබුණා.
අද ජනතාව බලාගෙන සිටිනවා. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය.
Today the people are closely watching the United National Party. They are waiting for the day to appoint a UNP government into power. We don't need positions. What we need is to steer the party towards victory. Everyone has united to make this objective a reality today.
ග්‍රහණය කිරීමට අද සියලු දෙනාම ඒකරාශී වෙලා තිබෙනවා කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ සතුටින් ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න කැමතියි.
Meanwhile, at the UMP Working Committee meeting held today, Ranjit Madduma Bandara was appointed as the senior vice president of the party, while Thalata Atukorala was appointed secretary of elections affairs. Furthermore, Harin Fernando's name was proposed by MP Ruwan Wijewardena to the post of chairman of the National Youth Front. Harin Fernando, who topped the UMP's preferential votes in Badulla, had not accepted the post during the working committee meeting. Earlier in the day, at a media briefing convened, parliamentarian Ruwan Wijewardena explained why he took the decision to resign from the UMP-affiliated National Youth Front.
මේ ජයග්‍රහණයේ ප්‍රධාන සාධකයක් තමයි අපේ හරින් ප්‍රනාන්දු මැතිතුමා.
The main factor that should be stressed on in Harin Fernando's victory is the fact that he sacrificed his parliamentary seat and all benefits that he gets from the position that he held, all for his people in Badulla, for the people of Uva, and most importantly for the party. He took up the challenge and contested the provincial council election. So because of this sacrifice and the immense service that he has rendered to the party, I believe that he deserves a certain position in this party. So thereby, at the working committee meeting today, I proposed that I resign from the position of chairman of the National Youth Front and that it be given to Harin Fernando. I love this party from the bottom of my heart and I would never leave it. I am even ready to sacrifice my position in the leadership council at any given time.
නායකත්ව මණ්ඩලයේ තනතුරත් පරිත්‍යාග කරන මම මොන වෙලාවක ලෑස්ති.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived in New York City last afternoon on the occasion of the United Nations General Assembly and Climate Summit 2014 that is taking place this week.
President Rajapaksa and First Lady Shiranti Rajapaksa were welcomed by a group including the permanent representative of Sri Lanka to the United Nations in New York, Dr. Palitha Kohana, and Sri Lanka's ambassador to the United States, Prasad Karivasam. President Rajapaksa is scheduled to deliver the national statement at the Climate Summit today and deliver his speech at the UNGA tomorrow. It will be the President's 7th address to the General Assembly. In addition, the President is also expected to participate in several other major international events that are taking place this week, including the annual meeting of the Clinton Global Initiative and a meeting with the Commonwealth heads of government. Journalists are not criminals. You will need them someday.
In one of our headline-making stories, police special task force personnel have been deployed to Badulla and Harliala. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rona said this decision had been taken in the wake of the clash that broke out last evening in Harliala. Newsfirst correspondent Chandana Kurupwarachi was also injured during the clash when he was set upon by a group of individuals.
The clash between a group of UPFA supporters and a group of UNP supporters broke out last evening opposite the Harliala Pradesh Sabha. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rona noted that about 5 vehicles were damaged in the incident. Newsfirst correspondent Chandana Kurupwarachi, who attempted to cover the incident, was set upon by a certain group and injured, following which he was admitted to the Badulla General Hospital last night for treatment. The injured journalist is currently receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo.
I recorded the situation in the town of Haliala and got into a three-wheeler to return home. An individual stopped the three-wheeler opposite the Haliala police post and asked if I was the one who recorded the video, and he hit the windscreen. He broke the windscreen, picked up a big rock and smashed it into my face with his hand. Blood began to flow from my nose and mouth. He grabbed the camera, at which point a piece of equipment broke off. I jumped out the other side of the three-wheeler and ran. I ran for about half a kilometer with blood flowing from my face. I do not think the attacker was from Haliala. I think he either owns or works at a garage in Badulla. There were two of them and he was the one who attacked me with the rock. The other person was shot and fell.
The
police have received some of the video footage that was telecast on the news last night. We are continuing to receive video footage. It has been revealed that the suspects have been identified. Several three-wheelers in the vicinity have also been identified. Two police teams have been deployed to apprehend the suspects.
A staff reporter who visited the area witnessed how security had been beefed up in Haliala since last night.
Following the clashes which erupted yesterday in Haliala Badulla, forces of the police STF have been added to the area for security since last night. However, day-to-day life in the area functioned as normal. Behind me you see a few STF personnel on duty.
Meanwhile, the Badulla District Journalists Association staged a protest in the Badulla town this morning to condemn the attack on journalists in Haliala last evening.
It was a very unfortunate incident that took place in Haliala Badulla yesterday. The malicious and disgraceful acts of Minister Dilan Pereira's supporters are viewed with strong condemnation. It is our journalists who report on everything, on every politician and without any party differences. It was such journalist who was attacked.
This government is not working according to the law in the country. The law is being implemented and influenced by UPFA-led government. On one side you have the supporters of Minister Dilan Pereira and on the other side you have the supporters of Anura Vidanagamage who have begun attacking innocent people. It has come to a level where they cannot bear their own defeat. This government will not be in power for much longer because the people of this country will soon reject them. We walked around the entire electorate of Haliala throughout the day yesterday to thank the supporters of the UPFA in that electorate. After that, we went to the Haliala Pradeshya Sabha for lunch. It was around 5 p.m. then. At that time, one of my associates came and told me that Harin Fernando is coming to the Haliala town in a vehicular procession. I told him it's fine because he has the right to come to the town as I do. But what Harin Fernando did was he came to the same part of the town where we were. We were about 500 yards away from where they were. Why did he have to come to where we were? I was inside the Pradeshya Sabha and then someone asked in foul language if Dilan was there. They had poles in their hands and they were pelting stones. So when they asked if Dilan was there and started acting in a hideous manner, there was an exchange of words which led to all of this. Stones were pelted by both sides and it led to people being injured. Journalists are not criminals. You will need them someday.
The Democratic Party informed the Elections Commissioner today that the results of the Uber Provincial Council elections were fraudulent. Party leader Sarath Fonseca made these submissions during a meeting with the Elections Commissioner today.
Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca had reportedly made submissions to the Elections Commissioner for around 2 hours.
The results of the Uva Provincial Council elections were fraudulent. There was definitely injustice that took place in this case. Because when we told the Elections Commissioner that we received only 189 votes in an electorate like Badulla, he was shocked. Even he wouldn't think that a party like us would receive just 100 to 200 votes. So I hope that he will look into this conscientiously and take action. Nevertheless, we will take this matter to court. In elections held in 4 provinces, we received the votes the government lost. So a plan was implemented to prevent this from happening again by means of stealing votes.
ඒක වළක්වන්න තමයි අපේ ඒ සැලසුමක් කරලා ඌට උපක්‍රමයකින් අපේ ඡන්ද කොල්ලකෑමක් කරේ.
Moving to other news, Minister of Construction, Engineering Services, Housing and Common Amenities, Vimal Weerawansa, says that the NBRO is not a profit-making organisation. He made this statement when he was questioned by UMP MP Ravi Karunanayaka in Parliament today. This is similar to asking the profit and loss of the Department of Social Services, because the NBRO is not an organisation whose aim is to make profits. It does not have commercial interests. The loss incurred in 2003 is 3,03,405. The loss incurred in 2013 is 2,209,930. The loss incurred in 2014 is 1,708,031. The profit forecasted for the year 2015 is a little over 1 million.
I asked you a question to help you out because you said that there are economic assassins in the finance minister.
There are no finance ministry assassins in the housing authority.
Meanwhile, UNP parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa questioned the Deputy Minister of Women's and Children's Affairs, ALAM Hizbullah, in Parliament today regarding the government's pledge to provide a glass of milk to every school child.
Honourable Minister, are you aware that the Mahinda Chintana promises to provide comprehensive training for preschool teachers and provide them with a proper wage? But at present, 2 Chintanas later, these promises are yet to be fulfilled. When will steps be taken to provide a wage for preschool teachers under state sponsorship?
Honourable Chair, it is already being done. Training is being provided for preschool teachers. Training centres have been established at the provincial council level. At the same time, teachers are being paid through the provincial council. Some of the provincial councils are yet to make the payments, but even they have started making payments.
Even you are aware that preschool teachers in the Galle district are not paid by the state. He is lying in Parliament.
They are not being paid by the ministry. They are being paid by the provincial councils and the local authorities.
I wish to ask you with all sincerity, and I ask that you give a responsible response to this House. The answer you gave to the second question is false. Not only wages, you have also promised a glass of milk. Now I wish to ask you, where is the glass of milk? Where are the wages?
His Excellency President Mahinda Rajapaksa has allocated a large sum of funds for our ministry to provide the glass of milk, and we will do it.
Meanwhile, the Western Provincial Council convened today at the Provincial Council Auditorium in Battaramulla.
Attention was focused on the Uva Provincial Council poll at today's sitting of the Western Provincial Council.
Today in the post-election period, they are attacking our candidates and our chief ministerial candidate. They are attacking their homes and offices and are levelling threats. I ask that the damages done to all candidates be insured.
At the Uva Provincial Council poll, public officials decided they would lend their strength to us. We did not take them on a false or forced journey. For the first time in the history of this country, about 20,000 public officials went there from other provinces.
Subsequently, views were expressed on the cost of living.
I have put forward a private motion that as the provincial council with the highest tax revenue, we should set an example for the provincial councils and provide relief for the people.
We respect the motion you have presented. We expect that there would be a greater bind in the party regarding this issue. Councillors who spoke of major victories with pride in the UNP are not standing for your motion today.
Why does this government impose so many taxes? The proud father of this government has created a situation where ordinary children in this country cannot afford some milk while their children lead lives of luxury. Their children spend 900 million on Lamborghinis, but these children cannot afford a small bicycle. Develop the country and build roads. We have no problem with that. But prior to that, ensure that the people can live. The government has proven one thing today, and that is that they can always win the trophy of thievery.
Meanwhile, tensions flared in the council today when a government councillor made a statement regarding Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca. The sitting was adjourned for 10 minutes. When the council convened again, the debate on the private member's motion regarding the alleviating the tax burden was taken up.
We know that this government does not have a strategy to take this country forward. They are speaking of increasing our per capita GDP to $7,000 by 2017, when there are already nations in the Asian continent with per capita GDPs of $30,000 and $40,000. At a time like this, the government, which has ruled for 20 years since 1994, is now under the president talking about $7,000 in 2017. We should be ashamed. What is this economic program?
$7,000 දක්වා වැඩි කරගන්නයි කතා කරන්නේ. ඉතින් අපි ලැජ්ජාවට පත් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකද්ද මේ අපේ ආර්ථික වැඩපිළිවෙල කියලා.
The North Western Provincial Council also convened today.
A tense argument broke out between the governing party and opposition councillors over a newspaper report last week that there was no teacher to teach advanced level Hinduism at the Panagama Muslim Mahavidyalaya in Dodanga Slanda. A heated argument broke out between the Chief Minister and the opposition leader J.C. Alawatuwala.
They publish wrong news in the newspapers. I am very disappointed, and I wish to say to the media not to engage in haphazard reporting. I am a person who has love for this council. I do not unnecessarily intervene in the media. I do not even take the rice packet given by the council. I bring my lunch from home. If the media acts in this way, I will ban them from the council. If you publish unnecessary news, I will take a decision. There is no two words about it. I am very disappointed.
UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Prince Zaid Al Hussein has reiterated his predecessor's call for the Sri Lankan government to cooperate with the investigation being conducted by his office. An advanced version of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights' oral update, to be delivered to the UN Human Rights Council tomorrow, was circulated in Geneva today.
In the advanced version of the update, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, addressing accusations in the Sri Lankan media of lack of transparency, said confidentiality is a necessary measure to protect anyone who provides information and to ensure the integrity of the investigation. He notes that the investigation provides a unique and historic opportunity to establish an accurate record of patterns of human rights violations and related crimes alleged to have been committed by both sides during the latter period of the conflict. He adds that withholding cooperation from the investigation means that valuable information held by the government cannot be taken into account. The advanced version of the update also notes that the role of the 6 international experts invited by the President to act as an advisory group remains unclear. The update further notes that the report of the Sri Lanka Army's investigation into the deaths of protesters in the incident in Valu area in August last year has still not been published as requested by the Human Rights Council. On the subject of the discovery of mass grave sites, the High Commissioner notes that it is critical to ensure that a credible and transparent judicial process is undertaken to investigate any mass graves that are identified with appropriate support from independent international experts. While noting that the government has made significant progress in the release of detainees, the High Commissioner points out that new cases of arbitrary arrest and detention under the Prevention of Terrorism Act have continued to be reported. The advanced version of the update reads further that, like his predecessor, the High Commissioner is deeply alarmed by the escalation in religious extremism and increasing attacks against Muslim and Christian minorities. The OHCHR says it has received 88 complaints of such incidents between January and August 2014. Meanwhile, on the subject of refugees and asylum seekers of Pakistani and Afghan origin being detained and deported, the High Commissioner encourages the government to cooperate with UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, in ensuring protection and durable solutions for such persons of concern. The High Commissioner concludes that notwithstanding the commendable progress the Sri Lankan government has made in resettlement and reconstruction, the High Commissioner firmly believes that a more fundamental and far-reaching accountability process is absolutely necessary for Sri Lankans to come to terms with their past, end impunity, achieve reconciliation between communities and strengthen the rule of law.
You're watching News First, and still in local news, the Court of Appeal today informed the petitioners who filed a petition against the eviction of residents of the multi-storied housing complex in the 34 Watta area in Vanathamulla to return to court after holding discussions on the matter with the Urban Development Authority. When the petition filed by 4 residents was taken up today, Justice Upali Aberatna instructed them to meet with the relevant officials at the UDA at 10 a.m. tomorrow and return to court on Friday.
The petitioners claim that they have ownership of the land in question as per deeds conferred on them by the Colombo Municipal Council. They claim that the UDA is now attempting to evict them and demolish their homes. The petitioners say that they have been informed that they will be given alternate housing at a complex at the 54 Watta area in Boralla and that they would have to make an upfront payment of 100,000 rupees followed by a monthly rental of 3,000 rupees. The petitioners further state that the alternate housing they are to be given is not of the same standard as their current residences and is smaller in size. Lawyers appearing for the petitioners in court today submitted that there is no law in the country that allows for their clients to be evicted from their homes and have their homes demolished. They added that such action would be illegal. The judge, Justice Upali Aberatna, instructed the petitioners to hold talks with the relevant UDA officials in this regard.
Miners at the Kahataka graphite mine in Kurunagala have called off the hunger strike they commenced inside the mine. The miners who commenced the hunger strike, citing 3 demands, said they had decided to call off the strike following discussions with the Deputy Minister of Industry and Commerce.
The miners at the Kahataka graphite mine commenced this hunger strike yesterday, demanding that their positions be made permanent, that a committee be appointed to prevent corruption and fraud in the institution, and that they be provided with a workers' insurance scheme. The miners commenced the strike inside the 1,132 feet deep graphite mine and continued with the action until this morning. The Deputy Minister of Industry and Commerce Lakshman Vasanta Pereira and Kurunagala District Parliamentarian Nimal Vijay Singh arrived at the mine today and held discussions with the miners. The Deputy Minister pledged to resolve the problems faced by the miners by the end of this year. Representatives of the miners requested that this decision be informed to the miners inside the graphite mine. Accordingly, the group led by the Deputy Minister entered the mine and met with the protesting miners.
මේ සභාපතිතුමා මේ මෙවනම් මේ හදන්න වෙනවා මේ අදම ගන්න මෙට්ටියක් කරලා දාන්න මේක අපේ දිස්කන්තිය
The miners then called off the hunger strike and exited the mine.
Moving on to business news, the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has decided to limit the access of open market operation participants, that is commercial banks, to the standing deposit facility of the central bank. The central bank notes that this step has been taken in a bid to increase credit flow and stimulate economic growth.
The current standing deposit facility or SDF interest rate is 6.5%. The Monetary Board decided yesterday to limit the access of OMO participants to the SDF in order to ensure that a larger portion of the surplus funds in the banking system amounting to 350 billion rupees is not deposited with the standing deposit facility.
Currently, Sri Lanka's commercial banking system, there is significantly high excess liquidity situation, that is around rupees 350 billion. On daily basis, considerable amount of this liquidity is coming to the central bank as deposits with the central bank at 6.5%, that is the standing deposit facility rate. Therefore, central bank decided to take a monetary policy action which is giving opportunity for banks to deposit their excess liquidity at 6.5% only 3 times per month. Banks who are coming more than 3 times will be provided this facility at only 5% level.
Still in local news, a demonstration was staged today opposite the Negombo Urban Council in protest against the assault of 2 employees of the Negombo Urban Council when they went for a dengue inspection to a house in Daluhena, Negombo.
The demonstration, which was staged this morning, was attended by several health workers and workers from the sectors of the Negombo Urban Council, as well as one of the alleged victims of the assault.
3 of us went to a house for dengue inspection. We found the presence of dengue in that house and we showed it to the individual in that house, and he admitted that there was dengue larvae. There was a plastic pipe and he beat one of the supervisors till the pipe was in pieces, and then he took another pipe and beat up the other person with us. The 2 who were attacked are in hospital while the attacker is at home.
According to the police, the attacker was arrested and produced before court. As he was released on bail, the case is to be taken up in the court again on the 27th of October. The attacker, who arrived at the Negombo Urban Council this morning and met with the mayor, said that the issue had been settled. Upon leaving the office of the mayor, those engaged in the demonstration outside chanted slogans against the attacker. Mayor of Negombo, Anton Jayawira, said that the individual who attacked the 2 employees was attacked by the angry mob after the issue was settled.
The HQ has said that he shouldn't be kept here and took him away. It is his responsibility when it comes to cases like this. After the issue was solved, I went back to my normal duties. It is then that I heard of such an incident. However, if he was inside, this wouldn't have happened.
In your sports news tonight, Sri Lanka Cricket announced today that Marwan Athapaththu is among the 2 candidates shortlisted for the post of national head coach. Meanwhile, chairman of the Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee, Sanath Jayasuriya, stepped down from the committee appointed by Sri Lanka Cricket to select a head coach for the national team. The committee appointed by SLC to select a head coach for the national team met this morning at Sri Lanka Cricket. Sri Lanka Cricket, issuing a communique, noted, quote, at the meeting held today, it was decided to shortlist 2 candidates for the post of national head coach, which included Marwan Athapaththu, unquote. The communique, however, did not reveal the name of the second candidate. The announcement came after the decision made by the chairman of the Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee, Sanath Jayasuriya, to resign from the committee appointed by SLC to select a head coach. When contacted by Sports First, Jayasuriya said that he has sent the resignation letter to SLC explaining the reasons for his decision. However, SLC Vice President Mohan De Silva said that there was no connection between Jayasuriya's resignation and the decision made by the panel this morning. De Silva said that Jayasuriya resigned from the post prior to the committee convened today. He added that in the resignation letter, Jayasuriya had stated that the rumour he favoured an international coach was the reason for his resignation.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola D'Zoiza.
And I'm Adushka Balasuriya. Thanks for stopping by and good night.
Journalists are not criminals. You will need them someday.